I should?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sterling Worth, my wife Catherine.
Hello.
That's our introduction.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to talk about the
Visa.
visa.
Today we're gonna give you tips on how we got our fiance visa approved within how many months?
6 months.
6 months from the day he processed my visa.
Applied for it, yeah. Yeah, the preliminary application papers, filled those out, and it took, I can't remember now, it was a couple weeks or something. And then we did that, and then filed the big paperwork, the large packet. I think it's the I-750 or something like that. Anyway, I've got the list here. See, we had this the thing I made here.
Itemized list.
Itemized list. I had 2 folders like this, and duplicates of everything. I wanted to be sure that if anything got lost or anything. So inside this folder, I had our MLN case number, and it has these items: petitioner's original certified copy of final divorce decree. What I understand, though, when we get down there, we know several people that in the interview at the embassy, we know several people waiting for their interviews, and they told us they didn't have the certified copy of the final divorce decree. And the website said it was necessary, so I had mine. But they got theirs anyway. They did get their visa approved, remember?
They got approved, but it doesn't mean you're gonna be approved.
It doesn't mean you're
you
gonna.
Need to have all the list.
You want to have everything you want. So I had that. They have a form DS 156K. That's a beneficiary's non-immigrant fiance visa application. The form DS-157 with addendum, supplemental non-immigrant visa application in duplicate. The beneficiary's certificate of no marriage. It's the Senomar certificate, singleness.
To prove that
that
I wasn't married in the past.
Wasn't married before. Yeah. The beneficiary's NSO birth certificate, National Statistics Office. The beneficiary's NBI clearance by the National Bureau of Investigation. Beneficiary's medical clearance from the SLM CEC. That's
I think that's St.
Luke's Medical.
So you're gonna get the medical.
Yeah.
I think you scheduled that for me, right?
Yeah, it was scheduled. Yeah,
you gotta schedule it in advance.
It was kind of a shooting in the dark, sort of, because we sent in the application. It takes a certain amount of months for that, and so I calculated that all out, and then bought my plane ticket, I think 2 or 3 months in advance, so that way tried to time it. So I was planning on being there for 3 weeks. And
yeah, in our case, my husband went there in my interview and in my medical, but there's a lot of girls that I met there that they did it in their own. They processed in their own, and they got approved, and they're able to be here in the state.
Yeah, they don't. She's kind of shy person, and she said she wanted me to be there to escort her back.
It's not
for
only
the interview
being
too.
shy. It's like I'm scared to be in Manila. I don't know how the.
She'd never been there, never been out of the Philippines.
I'm not in the big city kind of person.
Yeah, and we also was included in that was the receipt for K visa processing fee, BDO. Now we bought that in the BDO.
Banco de Oro.
Banco de Oro. There, they have a little desk
booth,
set up and
yeah.
line for the visa processing fee. And then the beneficiary's high school graduation certificate, that was Kathy's graduation certificate, and baptismal certificate.
I don't even really know if
I don't
they
know if
really
that's required, but we had it.
for that. I just it's one in my file.
And then we got your vaccination documentation from St. Luke's Medical. Now it's kind of, in a way, the vaccination was kind of bad. I remember they required back then for 1 year. It was required, because I checked with the immigration on it. For 1 year, it was required that she would have the HPV vaccination. It was kind of weird. And then we were in that time frame. Then later, the requirement was removed. So I was
So
kind of a
we're
really.
not sure if that's still the
Oh,
requirement.
I don't think it is anymore, but I was
Yeah.
really annoyed that they injected her with that. But she had a lot of other injections. She had three uh, Band-Aids and
Bandage.
cotton on each arm, three on each arm.
Mm-hmm.
And she spent, I think, 2 or 3 days up there at St. Luke's Medical.
No, it's just one day.
And you were gone for a couple, and I think you had to go back later, like a few
Oh,
days
yeah.
later. Yeah, because they
I'm
didn't.
not so sure, but
Yeah.
it looks like it was
We
just
had
one
everything.
day.
We wanted to try to make sure that everything was done. Then she went to was it one day or several days of that training where they,
It was after my interview. I went to CFO. It's like where they like tell you if something happened here in the state, you need to ask this help or this number. Your fiance turned out to be a wife beater. So
yeah, I don't think they told her that you can't beat your husband, but they told her that it was against the law.
It's basically for your safety when you're in the state. You're far away from.
They want to let people. They want to let ladies know that they have recourse here.
Yeah,
they have something to do.
So you feel safe.
So they'll be
coming
safe
in the states.
I think that was 3 days, wasn't it?
I'm not sure how many days. For me, it feels like it's only one day. Even the medical, it feels like I only went there one day, and I got all the shots and all my eyes. They checked my eyes. My eyes is really bad, so.
She needed glasses,
but
yeah. And
it did not stop me from coming
her.
here.
Nope.
I was still able to come here. All the letters I read it wrong, because I'm like shutting in the dark.
Yeah. Then we had to wait 3 days for the visa to be delivered before we could leave or anything.
Yeah, you gotta wait for. You need to have the right address and safe address to be delivered, because that's very important.
And I kept a lot of documentation. I have here, it's kind of, you can see it's some big folders, and
well, and also like it would say in their thing that immigrant visa warning, do not open, so you need to not open or peek on the envelope, because it's only the officer in the USA that would open that for you.
Delivered by courier.
Make sure not to open it.
Yeah. And then we could not take a detour from the Philippines we could to another country, like one of the Asian countries, Thailand or something like that, before coming here. But if we was to take a detour to say to Hawaii, say we stopped in Hawaii, well then they wouldn't allow her, to board the plane again. When well, let's see, say she boarded the plane, or if they did, they wouldn't allow her. It would be a second entry into the States when we got here. Now that applies to, say, for instance, Guam or Puerto Rico, because they're territories. So you can't actually go to Guam or Puerto Rico, because that's entering the United States, and the visa is for one entry only.
So make sure you don't stop to any other country, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then when we got back here, what was kind of interesting is they wanted her to have the medical exam here. And I thought, well, it's just a bureaucracy kind of, and they want, I don't know, extra money, extra revenue.
I don't know. That was like $600 again for follow-up.
Yeah, it was $695. It was $695.
Almost $700. I'm not sure right now how much.
It was like a little physical exam. I mean, they looked at her ears and looked in her eyes, and they checked her blood pressure and listened to her heart, watched her walk, and make sure she had her spine. I mean, that was it. And it wasn't much.
Yeah.
And it was $695. Was really a ripoff. And then we found out that if she was, say legal or illegal from Mexico, it would have been free. She could have been an illegal. I think it would have been free. That's what they told us at the medical office. The nurses and the receptionists there told us that. They said they had the same people sitting in the same chairs as us, same situation. They didn't pay anything. So I think that's why I paid $695, that is so that excess goes to pay for those other people.
And also I think it's important too, like when your fiance processed your visa, or if you do it yourself, make sure you do I think do the work too, because it's like part of the payment.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works.
It was the work permit to process the visa. I think it was $1,000 at the time. I don't know. It's been years, 6 years now.
Yeah.
So I think the visa was $1,000, Now, then I think there was a work permit that was another additional 600 or something, and then there was a travel permit if you wanted to take a trip, say to Canada or Mexico or something. The travel permit was extra $700 or something. But those, I thought those were individual fees. Filing those papers, each fee individually you would have to pay. But it turns out that since I paid the master fee for the visa, that I could have went ahead, we could have filled those papers out and filed those, and we wouldn't have had to put in any extra cashier's checks. Yeah, they'd have processed them all under the same fee. So we didn't know that.
Yeah, especially if you want to work here. So
that's a nice thing to know. That part there is
Yeah.
a critical piece of information, And as far as attorneys and everything, I think a person can fill it out themselves. We did. It works pretty well. I think that when you get attorneys, it's kind of like, they're busy doing other things, other cases, so they don't take care of your stuff.
It could cause a delay, but if you do it yourself, you follow up with your own, then
Exactly.
it might be fast process.
Yeah.
So I think that's all, right?
Yeah, that's it.
If you have any questions, just let us know.
Leave a question.
We have all the paperwork here.
Oh, we had photos. We had photos
Yeah,
of us together on my other first visit there.
Oh yeah, make sure you have
And
the photos
they
of
were
your fiance
dated.
with your family.
I kept the receipts for my hotel and flights and everything, and photocopied them and filed them with the original application, original visa application, along with photos. Both of us had statements.
Conversation you have.
Yeah,
email.
when we first met each other, we wrote out statements. I copied those and sent them in. I think we had our phone records. So we spent $2,500 in 6 months on phone calls.
It should have not been like that. If you're smart enough to have maybe have your own laptop, or if you have a smartphone, which I don't have a smartphone then,
Okay.
then you could have a free conversation. But we have the calling card.
Yeah, it was bad. Anyway, and then also all of our emails back and forth to each other were all photocopied and dated and compiled. We had a big folder.
I think to pass is you just gotta overwhelm those those people that you have everything.
We had everything. Boy, we had so many photos in these photo albums, of us together that were dated and where it was and everything. And
in my experience, they never asked me anything. It's like he answered everything, so I was just basically standing there and
looking good, standing there
standing
looking
there
good.
that I'm here. He's gonna marry me, so he's gonna bring me to the state. So, but I'm not sure with those ladies that went there that by themselves. So they probably answered a lot of questions. So
they probably did.
Either way, whatever you guys do.
And our photos, we made sure we took photos of us together. Somebody had to shoot the photo for us, standing in front of known Filipino architecture, known churches and places and things that were documented
I
there.
think if they just stand in front of the mall, like Robinson Mall, so that's basically
like
a Philippine mall. So
sure. Yeah.
Or a Rizal Park in Manila, if you in Manila.
And when you get your visa, we want to know about it.
Yeah, we
When
want to
your
know your
children are
love
born,
story.
And when your children are born, we want to be the godparents. No.